If one were to go back and look at history and think in terms of great leaders, and I don't mean narcissistic leaders, perhaps like Steve Jobs, whatever you think of him, and he and Apple, he was a terribly narcissistic leader, or other people who wanted to downplay the efforts or the work of other people to make themselves to grow as a leader. I'm not talking about that. I mean people who were great leaders, the ones that profoundly made a real mark on human history. Those people had a great deal of self-confidence. They weren't self-absorbed. And don't misunderstand that. When I think in terms of self-confidence, I'm thinking about self-efficacy, the belief that we can overcome adversity, that we can be resilient, the belief that we can perform a task or a job. You know, I remember just recently a quote on a movie that my wife and I were watching, where the man said, "I'm doing everything that I can," and the woman said, "What if what you're doing is not good enough?" Well, that is the case, because what we like about great leaders and people in life are those that said, "I'm doing everything that I can," but somehow they pull in reserve, like what we like to see in great Olympians, or basketball players, or football players, gymnasts and all. We want to see those people that have this injury somehow that would be debilitating to someone else that they managed to overcome. And that's what we want to have in ourselves, this resiliency, this self-efficacy, which is a powerful word. It's the self-confidence that we can manage, that we can not just get alone and make something happen, that we can really make something important happen in our lives. When you look for quotes on self-confidence or responsibility, accountability, overcoming tough situations, you must always pull up a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And yet, when you think about Emerson, you don't think of a person who was a Baptist minister, or a person who was a lay person who had profound insecurities in his entire life. You don't think of that. In fact, Emerson kept a nice series of essays in a journal where he talked about his wanting to commit suicide, his being overwhelmed with the death of a loved one, and his insecurities and wondering if I'm ever going to amount to anything, that no one wants to listen to me. He wasn't this flamboyant person with his bubbly personality that people couldn't wait to talk to in the corner of a meeting somewhere. It wasn't like that. You might say in some respects he faked it till he made it. And we don't mean going out buying a Mercedes-Benz or something like that, or buying the grandiose house or whatever it is, and because you're wearing a Rolex watch and pretending to people that you have more money than you do. We're not talking about that. He was doing the work within, because he was giving himself this self-talk that I'm going to rise above it. I'm going to rise above it. I'm going to rise above it. And I'm going to keep telling myself that I can do this. I have done this. I will do this until I arrive at it. And once you arrive at it, it's not something that you can say like a diet. See, a diet, one has to work at every single day of one's life. We can't say, well, I'm down to 125 pounds today. This month's looking really good. I can slack off for the next week, or the next 2 weeks, or a month, or year. No, you can't do that. So self-reflection, self-work on ourselves, building that self-confidence is something we have to do constantly, no matter who you think of. No matter what great leader you pick, it doesn't matter if it's Aristotle, any of them, they all have to work at it every single day. We have to get up, put our pants on, or our clothes, skirts on, or whatever it is. Not me, figuratively speaking. Okay, but we have to do those things and put one leg after the other out of the bed and get up, shower, shave if we need to, and get ourselves ready for the day. So my challenge for you is that you can do this. What looks impossible when we look at other people, just remember, every day they're doing the same thing as you do. They tell themselves, I can do it, I will do it, I have done it, and I can do it again. Go do it.